The Nene Valley Railway have been running preserved steam and diesel trains on the line between Wansford and Peterborough since 1977. The line is unique among Britain's heritage railways, as it is built to the continental burn gauge and can therefore run locos and stock from all over Europe. This Swedish 264 tank engine was one of the first locomotives used on the railway. It was bought by NVR member Richard Hurlock in 1973. Thanks to enthusiasts with cine cameras, we can now look back to the early years, before the Nene Valley line was acquired. Locomotives and stock were stabled at the British Sugar Factory sidings, where the Peterborough Locomotive Society held its first public open day during Easter 1970. Standard Class 5, number 73050, was purchased from British Rail in 1968 by the Reverend Richard Peyton. It was named City of Peterborough by the Mayor of Peterborough on 28 August 1972. This Hudswell-Clark tank engine was officially named the Thomas by the Reverend Audrey at the Factory Sports Day in 1971. It had spent all of its working life at the sugar factory, being used to marshal heavy trains in the extensive sidings. Another industrial tank engine steamed at these open days was Hunslet 060 Jacks Green. This loco had spent all of its life working at the ironstone quarries at Nassington. When the quarries closed in 1970, the engine moved under its own steam from Nassington along the Nene Valley line to the sugar factory sidings in Peterborough. Here it is seen passing Wansford Station on the 1st of January 1971. Jacks Green would have to run on British Rail via Peterborough, east and north stations, then south along the main line to Fletton to reach the factory sidings, as there was no connection off the Nene Valley line at this time. In March 1974, the Peterborough Development Corporation purchased the Nene Valley line and leased it to the Peterborough Railway Society. The first steam-hauled passenger train to run along the line for many years was in April 1974, when Hudswell-Clark 060 Derrick Crouch hauled a member's special to Wansford. The site at Wansford was very basic, with just one short platform and one siding. The original station building had already been sold and was in private use, as it still is today. This view of the Wansford site shows just how much work needed to be done before the railway could be open to the public. Some of the Society's locomotives and stock who moved to Wansford on Easter Saturday 1975. Regular open days soon commenced, with a steam shuttle service through the tunnel to Yarwell. This Barclay 040 loco was owned by Malcolm Hugh, a founder member of the railway, and was the only engine passed to work the Yarwell trains in 1976. At Wansford, a great deal of work was carried out by the railway's volunteers, laying track for the locomotive yard and erecting signals. A new platform was built and a water tank erected at the west end of the site. The old station building from Barnwell was acquired and moved to Wansford by road. It was erected on the new platform too. The old locomotive turntable arriving at Wansford was obtained from Peterborough East. It was built in 1933 by Ransomes and Rapier of Ipswich, and was originally installed at Bourne in Lincolnshire. Yeah. More locos and stock were soon moved to Wansford. This is the Nord Locomotive Preservation Group's French compound locomotive, and the Southern Electric Group's 4-core air brake stock. With the two Swedish locomotives restored to working order, a test train was run along the line prior to the official opening on the 1st of June 1977.
On behalf of the Nord Local Preservation Group, I'd like to say how proud we are to be associated with the Nene Valley on this auspicious occasion.
Hello everyone. May I say thank you very much on behalf of the Southern Electric Group for having us here. Terrific site. This is indeed a great day for the group, but of course more so for PRS.
It seems a long time ago, since that meeting in 1969, when without the knowledge or the approval of my county council, I committed them to helping to support this scheme.
In those early years, the line ran as far as Orton Mere, where a single platform and run-round facilities had been built. During the first year of operation, the level crossing at Ham Lane had manually operated gates, and there was no station or siding at Ferry Meadows. A 6-coach platform was built and the station opened on 17th May 1978. The old level crossing gates were replaced by an automatic crossing with flashing lights. The first British mainline locomotive to haul trains along the Nene Valley was the Southern Railway Class S15 named Green King. It was owned by the Essex Locomotive Society and has since moved to the North Yorkshire Moors Railway. This Danish tank engine number 656 is fitted with a bell on the cab roof and became known as Tinkerbell. It was used on demonstration freight trains and lighter off-peak services. Jack's Green was completely overhauled by apprentices at Peter Brotherhood's and repainted in LNER apple green. Also overhauled at this local factory was the railway's Class 5 City of Peterborough. Here in July 1980 it is hauled through Peterborough mainline station on its return to Orton Mere. Another British mainline engine to move to the railway was Standard Class 7 MT Britannia. It had arrived from the Nene Valley Railway on 17th April 1980. Air braking equipment was fitted to allow Britannia to operate the Continental stock. From the opening in 1977, the railway soon established a regular operating routine, with trains running at weekends and some weekdays throughout the summer months. But the railway's most popular services have been its Santa Specials, which have run every December since the line opened. Here, the Swedish Class B number 101 works a Santa Special in December 1984. These Santa trains have developed a high reputation with visitors from all over the region, carrying up to 25,000 visitors in one season alone. The winter sunshine highlights the Class B as it departs from Orton Mere on its return working. Another regular event held for the enthusiast each September was known as Eurosteam Weekend, in which all available locomotives would be steamed. Here, the Austerity 060 saddle tank is seen at Orton Mere, fresh from overhaul, painted in grey primer. This small Peckett locomotive is working a demonstration freight train at Eurosteam in 1985. 64-305 is a typical German tank engine, built by Krupps of Essen in 1934. It was in regular use on the railway in the 1980s. The 64 returns from Altenmere, double-headed with 101. Double heading and freight trains were a regular feature of the Eurosteam events. This large tank engine is a Danish Class S and was named Danish Seaways in 1981. It has now returned to Denmark. Class 5 and Britannia were always popular with the enthusiast, and this view from Castor Mill Lane Bridge was a great place to observe these engines in action. Soon after withdrawal from British Rail in 1982, Deltic D9000 Royal Scots Grey moved to Wansford. Here it accelerates away from the Lynch River Bridge with the Continental stock in the summer of 1984. 55016 Gordon Highlander was also moved to the Nene Valley and is seen here departing from Orton Mere. A major project on the railway began in 1984 with the extension of the line eastwards from Longville Junction. Volunteers worked every weekend and some weekday evenings laying the track along the old formation towards Peterborough. By the autumn of 1985, the track had reached the outskirts of the city. The Ruston 165 horsepower diesel was used on most of the works trains together with the small Fowler loco seen earlier. One of the final track laying jobs was the run-round loop at Peterborough. On the 1st January 1986, the Swedish rail car took working members on a special trip along the new extension.
There was about me green tyres, wasn't there?
As can be seen at this time, there was still much work to be done before the line could be opened. It's Easter 1986 and the Ruston Class 88 is dropping ballast at the new terminus. The run-round loop has been completed, but work on the station was still in progress. A tamping machine was hired in from British Rail to pack and align the track before the line could be passed for passenger trains to run. At Ortonmere on Saturday 24th May, Roger Manns, the Chief Civil Engineer, chalks up the notice for the very first public train to travel over the new line. Working members involved in the construction of the line crowded into the brake van for this auspicious occasion. At Peterborough, driver Malcolm Hugh congratulates those involved on a great effort.
It's worth it. Oh yes,
The 30th of June was a very special day, as 73050 displays the Royal Head Code. His Royal Highness Prince Edward had agreed to officially open the new line.
That's what you've all been waiting for, isn't it? I wonder why you were waiting.
As the train passed through Ferry Meadows and Ortonmere, local school children lined the platforms to cheer and wave.
paper I'm touching here is maybe an honorary life member, which I'm told does not mean I can come back and drive the trains any time. Next time I've got to shovel the coal in. Many congratulations to everybody, and I now, with no further ado, declare the extension open.
Eurosteam 1986 was the last time this special event took place. Here, the German tank is heading a demonstration freight train away from Peterborough along the new extension. Double-headed continental trains would become a rare sight on NVR after this event, as many of the foreign locomotives would soon be taken out of service for major overhaul. It is April 1987 and 33008 heads the Orient Express along the Fletton Loop towards Orton Mere. This was the second time this famous train had visited the Nene Valley, the first being on the 27th May 1985. At Orton Mere, the Class 33 came off and was replaced by the French Nord loco for the journey to Wansford. This unusual combination was a proving test for Jack's Green after some repair work to the braking system. All was well, so the next day the Hunslet worked the service trains to Peterborough. During the Civils Work Week in 1987, a new crossover was installed west of the A1 bridge. This important addition to the layout at Wansford would enable trains to arrive and depart from platform 2 in both directions. first loco to pass over the new formation was English Electric Diesel Hydraulic number 1123 Muriel. June 1987 was the 10th anniversary of the opening of Nene Valley Railway. The trains carried a special headboard during the first weekend. In 1988, for the first time in its history, the railway hired in a Great Western locomotive to help with the running of its summer service. This Class 61XX was on loan from the Great Western Society at Didcot. Another Great Western Railway engine from Didcot was hired the following year. 3822 was built for heavy freight duties. It is equally at home on short-haul passenger trains. LMS Black 5, number 5231, moved to NVR from the Great Central Railway in May 1989. Black Fives were a regular sight on this line during the steam days, working on both passenger and freight trains. Swedish tank number 1178 celebrated 75 years service in 1989 and carried a suitable headboard. Before returning to Didcot, 3822 worked a demonstration freight train at the Enthusiast Weekend in September. This immaculate Class 40 diesel moved to the Nene Valley in February 1990 and soon entered regular service on the line. Class 40, owned by Gerald Bowden, had moved from the Great Central Railway to join his Class 14 diesel hydraulic locos, which had been at Wansford since November 1988. Here, D9516 and D9523 powered through Wansford on a short freight at the Enthusiast Weekend in September 1990. Also at this event was Avonside 040 saddle tank Dora from the Rutland Railway Museum. Dora took the Mark I passenger stock to Yarwell after the owner, John Scholes, decided to fit vacuum brake into his engine. Track maintenance is an important part of any railway. The civil engineers had to relay the track through Wansford Level Crossing in the summer of 1990, and this Ruston 165 is hauling D9516 as a dead load to bed in the track before the tarmac is replaced. railway's first ever diesel gala was held in October 1990 with 3 visiting locos. Here, D1013 Western Ranger passes over the freshly tarmac crossing as it prepares to take the 1645 to Peterborough. The Western returned double-headed with the Class 40. The other 2 locos operating at the gala were Deltic 55015 Tullyar and Class 45 number 45133. Austerity J94 works hard up Castor Bank with a heavy Santa train in December 1990. At this time, the NVR did not have any larger steam engines available to work these important trains, but that would soon change with the arrival of one of the largest preserved locomotives in the country. This is a Polish State Railways Class TY2, number 7173. It was built in Austria during the Second World War and worked on lines between Poland and Russia. It had been purchased by NVR member Martin Haynes. The engine had a full overhaul at a Polish locomotive works before being transported to this country and was therefore in full working order. But the loco was much larger than any other on the railway and would be too tall to pass under a bridge along the line. The formation of the track under this bridge would have to be moved to allow the safe passage of this new arrival. By the 16th March 1991, the TY2 ran the full length of the line. The railway held its first spring steam gala in 1992. Britannia is running non-stop from Yarwell to Peterborough. Another visitor from the Rutland Railway Museum is the small Barclay loco named Salmon. Returning on the freight from Yarwell is Malcolm Hughes Class 03. In the summer of 1992, the railway was fortunate in acquiring 20 XBR box vans from the British Sugar Factory at Spalding. They were moved to Wansford and painted in bright colours for use in a commercial for B&Q Paint, which was being filmed on the railway. Sentinel diesel number 11 takes a turn on the vans. This unusual engine was built by Aveling and Porter and named Sir Vincent. The first photographic day with the vans sees ex-Great Eastern Class N7 departing from Yarwell on the 30th of April 1993. At the NVR's Vintage Weekend in July 1993, coal was transported by barge direct from the colliery to Wansford and was offloaded by the Great Western Railway 3-ton crane. The crane was built for use at Barry Docks in South Wales. It had been purchased and restored by the late Dr. George Cree and the late Graham Hall. The British Rail weed killing train was hired to kill the weeds in the spring of '93. The Hunslet Barclay Class 20s depart from Autumnmere after spraying the whole length of the line. British Rail helped out again later in the year when 31541 brought in sleepers for the repair of the Yacht Club crossing. Another rail freight loco paid a visit for the diesel gala in October. 37379 delights the enthusiasts as it heads through Wanstead. Great Western Pannier Tank number 9466 crosses the River Nene and heads towards Castor with a photographic charter. This loco was on loan from the Buckinghamshire Railway Centre in the late summer of 1993. The year ended with 14029 working the winter service in November. The 1994 services began on a foggy day in February. Thomas departs from Wanstead with a half-term special for the children. During the winter months at Orton Mere, a new platform had been built. The finishing touches were being made during March when visiting loco 7819 Hinton Manor arrived with the Peterborough to Wanstead train. The new platform was officially opened on the 23rd of March. It had been built under contract by British Rail Civil Engineering Department. The Class 31 in the new platform was to be named Nene Valley Railway by Mr. Jim Cornell from British Rail.
Name a locomotive after the Nene Valley Railway, an infrastructure locomotive on a new piece of infrastructure. My pleasure to name this locomotive the Nene Valley Railway. I'd like to make a big thank you, of course, to Jeff Humphrey for his work at Orton Mere and his generosity. I'm sure that he would have been very proud if he was here today. So if you'd like to join me in showing your appreciation, well, they can all board the train. Thank you very much.
During the summer of 1994, the world-famous loco Flying Scotsman visited NVR and is seen steaming towards Wansford from Ferry Meadows. Alan Pegler, a former owner of the Scotsman, paid a visit to Wansford to meet a gathering of former drivers and firemen who had worked on the engine during steam days.
Better and better. Terrific. Great pleasure, Henry.
Thank you.
During its stay on the railway, an opportunity was taken to recreate the Scotch goods, with Flying Scotsman masquerading as number 60106 Flying Fox. Diesel enthusiasts were delighted with the opportunity to ride behind 58049 during the Diesel Gala in October. But later in the month, the steam enthusiasts were ecstatic when Gresley A4 60009 visited Wansford on a rail tour from King's Cross. The A4 worked one round trip on NVR before returning to King's Cross.
There's a rabbit running across the line.
Construction was well underway on a new station building at Wansford in early 1995. It was planned to be completed by the summer in time for the 150th anniversary of the opening of the line. The occasion was celebrated with no fewer than 12 visiting engines. The first to arrive was the LNER Class K4, the Great Marquis. The special event, Peterborough Rail 150, commenced on 2nd June with replica engine locomotion steaming into Peterborough Nene Valley Station, to be met by enthusiastic members and invited guests, suitably dressed in period costume.
Congratulations, sir, on opening up the railway.
Thank you. Okay.
The event was officially opened by the local MP, Brian Mawhinney, who also named a Class 58 locomotive at Peterborough Depot.
It gives me great pleasure to name this locomotive Peterborough Depot.
Thank you very much.
It's a busy time at Wansford the next day, with many engine movements taking place around the loco yard.
The next train departs from platform number 3.
This unusual machine was built by Aveling and Porter using 19th century traction engine technology. It is named Blue Circle. Preserved by the Middleton Railway Trust is this Sentinel Class Y1. All locomotives carried a special headboard throughout the event, as displayed by LMS Jubilee number 45596 Bahamas from the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway. Rebuilt Merchant Navy Class 35005 Canadian Pacific was a late arrival at the event. It steamed on the Sunday and gave visitors the rare opportunity to see 2 British trains passing through the platforms at Wansford. His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester visited NVR on 6th June. He inspected the yet unfinished station building.
With a cafe, the double doors would have a terrace there for now, terrace for the night time and so on. Down the way to the corner to allow for a kitchen surgery there.
The Duke had travelled to Wansford on a special train from Alton Mere. On the return journey, he took the controls as the Jubilee departed eastwards. On the 11th June, A4 Sir Nigel Gresley arrived on the railway. The sound of the chime whistle echoes around Nene Park as number 7 departs from Ferry Meadows. During their stay on the railway, all 4 mainline locos took a turn on the van train. The diesel enthusiast was not forgotten. BR Class 31, 31165 paid a visit for the autumn gala. The final visiting engine of 1995 was Black 5 44767 George Stephenson. Fresh from major overhaul in time to work the Santa Specials is the Swedish Bee number 101. On a cold day after Christmas, George Stephenson works the mince pie specials. The Black 5 stayed at Wansford over the winter. It is seen here hauling the freight train at the Spring Gala in 1996. Britannia was disguised as 70036 Boadicea on this photographic charter during the summer of 1996. Memories of the 60s in East Anglia were recreated at the Autumn Gala with this pairing of Britannia and D306. This delightful little tram engine, named Yvonne, brings back memories of the Wisbech and Upwell tramway, as it shunts the vans in the Peterborough sidings on an August evening in 1996. Yvonne proves she was not just for shunting. Here she departs from Yarwell with a short passenger train at the Autumn Gala. Enthusiasts were delighted to see the return of number 9 in October 1996. Another ex-LNER Pacific visited NVR in April 1997. 60532 Blue Peter bore the rail tour to Wansford. More Pacific power was seen along the line later that year, when ex-LMS Coronation class Duchess of Hamilton came to visit from the National Railway Museum. Nene Valley Railway has been a favourite location for film producers since 1978. Scenes for the James Bond film Octopussy and Goldeneye were shot on the railway, plus numerous scenes for commercials and television. Some scenes for an episode of London's Burning were shot at Wansford in 1997. The new Wansford Station building was officially opened on 10th September 1997 by Mr. D. Rampley, the High Sheriff of Cambridgeshire.
I thank the county, on behalf of the County of Cambridgeshire, I thank all the volunteers and officials, and I'm very pleased and honoured to open this new splendid building.
After the opening ceremony, members and guests travelled on a special train hauled by LMS Black 5 number 5337 on loan from the East Lancs Railway. Many small diesel shunting engines can be seen around Wansford Yard from time to time. This is a Yorkshire Engine Company 250 horsepower 040 named at Doncaster. Ruston and Hornsby of Lincoln built this small 48 horsepower engine. This look-alike diesel is in fact a steam sentinel from the Buckinghamshire Railway Centre. Enthusiasts had the opportunity to ride behind some of the diesel shunters at an event in August 1997. 08704 is departing with the train to Yarwell. This ex-London Transport Sentinel is owned by NVR member Dave Hartley and has been restored to pristine condition. (1998) began with the winter trains being operated by the newly arrived DMU. In the early spring of '98, the NVR secured a contract to accept EWS pipe trains from Scotland to an offloading point at Yarwell. The 56 is arriving at Orton Mere, where one of the railway's Class 14s would take over the train to Yarwell. A popular visitor that springtime was ex-North Eastern Railway Class J27, number 65894. Throughout the Easter period, the Nene Valley experienced the worst floods for many years. NVR trains continued to run, and many people travelled the line just to view the unusual scenery. Due to the position of the new station building, it was necessary to move the original platform starting signals. A new, impressive signal gantry was erected and GNR somersault signals fitted. Bulleid Pacific 34081 moves under its own power for the first time in 34 years on the 12th of December 1997. A small team of dedicated volunteers had restored the loco over a period of 22 years. The outer casing and a final paint job needed to be done before 92 Squadron could begin hauling trains again. On 19th May 1998, the fully restored engine hauled a test train to Peterborough, and a few weeks later it was seen on a Sunday morning banana train. A surprise visitor in July was rebuilt Bulleid Pacific 34027 Tor Valley. Whilst working a mainline rail tour, it had failed with a hot axle box at Peterborough, so it was moved to Wansford for repairs. With repairs complete, it worked on NVR for one weekend. This gave visitors the rare chance to see two Bulleids passing at Wansford. In late autumn, GWR Hall class number 4920 Dumbleton Hall was hired from the South Devon Railway. November 98 saw the railway's volunteers undertake the renewal of Ham Lane Crossing. The old wooden surface was replaced with modern prefabricated panels, kindly donated by local firm Polysafe. In 1999 saw the completion of a new station building at Ferry Meadows. The old goods office at Fletton had been dismantled and moved brick by brick to be recreated as a new ticket office and waiting room. This ex-GNR Class J52 was based at New England Depot during the 1950s. This was the first time it had returned to the area since preservation, and it was on loan from the National Railway Museum in York. Dumbleton Hall stayed on the railway for the 1999 season and hauled the demonstration freight train at the Spring Gala weekend. Gresley V2 Green Arrow was a very welcome visitor. It arrived at Ortonmere after hauling a mainline rail tour into Peterborough. The V2 hauled trains on NVR for one weekend before returning to mainline duties. Class 31 diesels were a common sight along the Nene Valley in the final BR days before closure, so the sight of 5580 in action brought back nostalgic memories for many. '92 Squadron hauled the majority of trains during the new millennium year. Here it departs from Ortonmere displaying the Golden Arrow headboard. The Kriegslock TY2 made a brief return to traffic during the year before being withdrawn for major overhaul. A new venture for NVR in the year 2000 was the provision of lineside mail catching apparatus. 92 Squadron demonstrates how it all worked at a special mail rail weekend. The diesel age returned in 2001, Deltic 55019 spent the summer on the railway on loan from the Deltic Preservation Society. Another diesel arrived on 17th September when D172 Ixion brought in 31108 for an extended stay on the railway. Ixion and 5580 returned to the Midland Railway Centre the next day. The new arrival worked the freight train at the October Gala. Returning to Nene Valley after 14 years is Deltic D9000 Royal Scots Grey. It is seen here arriving at Orton Mere with a rail tour from King's Cross on 5th January 2002. Spring 2002 sees 31108 hauling the Mark I stock away from Orton Mere. More mainline diesels arrived on 16th May 2002. The locos would take part in the Nene Valley Railway's Silver Jubilee. Green Deltic D9009 Alicidon double heads with D306 away from Orton Mere on 18th May. Class 47 47401 was originally numbered D1500, being the first of the type built in 1962. "25 years ago, steam reigned supreme on the NVR and other preserved lines throughout the country. But times have changed and the younger generation have been raised on the sight and sound of diesel traction. So, is this the future for railway preservation? Only time will tell."